Not every killer whale attack begins with speed, but when the pressure is properly established, the outcome is often predetermined before the actual confrontation occurs. From the cold waters of the coast to the deep ocean, every small movement gradually closes the gap and eliminates any chance of escape. When space is completely controlled, what is left to alter the outcome of such an attack? It's not size, but the way they control their environment that gives killer whales an advantage in the cold waters of the North Pacific. A mature individual can be over 20 feet long and weigh nearly 12,000 pounds. In the ever-changing ocean, their ability to determine distance, sound, and movement helps them stay proactive. From that control, group behavior forms a stable system. Killer whales live in close-knit family groups where experience is maintained and passed down through generations. Each group develops characteristic hunting behaviors, repeated over time. This level of coordination reflects high levels of awareness and memory, based on experience, timing, and precision. In the cold waters from California to Alaska, seals appear along coastlines, ice floes, and remote islands. They choose deep water for feeding and stable surfaces for resting. Seals memorize the terrain, currents, and locations of fish while avoiding areas with predators. Their ability to detect sounds makes a seal on a small ice floe an easily identifiable target from afar. From offshore, a group of orca keep their distance and observe in a stable formation. They move with the current, adjusting their position to narrow their control area. When the time is right, the entire group swims in unison around the ice floe, creating successive waves. The waves cause the surface to shake, forcing the seal to maintain balance in increasingly unstable conditions. Under this impact, the seal repeatedly slips to the edge of the ice but quickly returns. The waves continue, but not enough to keep the prey in the water. The whale group slowed their movements and maintained a distance to observe. In this situation, the seal retained its position and was not caught. After a series of successive pressures, a difference in how they utilize the environment becomes apparent. Seals rely on memory and reflexes to maintain their position. Orcas rely on coordination and distance control to create opportunities. These two approaches occur continuously over a short period. And in this confrontation, that control was still insufficient to change the outcome. On their long migration across the oceans from the Arctic to the Antarctic, blue whales maintain a pace that can reach 10,000 to 12,000 miles per year. They are often found in cold waters such as the California coast, Alaska, and Antarctica. thus maintaining their size advantage. However, when moving alone in the open, a blue whale gradually finds itself at a disadvantage, and this vulnerability opens the door to an approach. From that point, the distance begins to narrow as a pod of orca disperses and maintains its direction of travel. They don't charge immediately, but maintain a rhythmic approach from multiple directions, increasing pressure with each subsequent movement. The blue whale tries to maintain its course to escape, but each adjustment reduces its effectiveness, causing the safe distance to continue to shorten. When the pressure builds up sufficiently, the blue whale can no longer maintain its initial pace. The pod of orca then closes in, blocking all escape routes and bringing the situation to a decisive stage. When there is no longer enough distance to react, the blue whale is subdued, and in this confrontation, the orca pod clearly wins. Along the Pacific coast, sea lions often congregate on docks or rocky islands from California northward. They rest while observing schools of fish moving near shore to choose when to enter the water. Their ability to track movement gives them a short-term advantage. And from offshore, that movement gradually comes under their control. The pace of movement in the area changes dramatically when killer whales begin to position themselves around their target. Instead of a direct approach, they alternately accelerate from multiple directions to create constant pressure. The sea lion constantly changes direction to escape, but each change reduces speed, rapidly shortening the safe distance. The prolonged chase causes the sea lion to lose its speed. The whale group maintains pressure and constantly changes positions to block escape routes. When the distance is no longer sufficient for a reaction, the sea lion is subdued, a result of the group's ability to maintain pressure. Throughout the oceans, from the Atlantic to the Pacific and Indian Oceans, dolphins appear from coastal areas to the deep. They often choose areas with strong currents and abundant fish to feed. High speed and quick reflexes help them maintain an advantage for short periods. But in open spaces, a pod of dolphins begins to experience increasing pressure. This pressure quickly turns into chaos as the pod's rhythm begins to break. Instead of immediately approaching, they take turns accelerating from multiple directions to apply continuous pressure. A killer whale rushes in at the right moment, creating a collision that deflects the target. Immediately afterward, the rest press in formation, forcing the dolphin pod to separate and lose their rhythm. Prolonged pressure weakens a dolphin and causes it to lose its speed. The whale group continues to close the distance, changing positions to block escape routes. When the open space is gone, the target is contained, and the hunt concludes with a predetermined outcome. In the world's oceans, sharks are found from shallow coastal waters to depths exceeding 6,500 feet. Their wide adaptability allows them to maintain their hunting positions in a variety of environments. As top predators, sharks control their habitat through stable movement. However, this very stability allows a group of orca to begin locating their target from a distance. There are no sudden movements, but the pressure in the area increases significantly as the orca maintain their position around the shark. They don't attack immediately, but take turns circling the shark, adjusting their position to limit its ability to react. When an opportunity arises, the pressure is continuously increased, forcing the shark to lose its initial stability. After that, the shark loses its advantage and is completely controlled. The orca group focuses on the belly for the liver, the most energy-rich part. The process ended quickly, and the whale pod accomplished its objective. After all the control and pressure, each species' approach became clear. Sharks relied on individual stability, while killer whales relied on group coordination. These two opposing strategies determined the outcome in the short term. In the Antarctic waters, penguins live in temperatures that can drop to -40 degrees Fahrenheit. They move between ice and water to find food, often leaving the safe surface to venture into the sea. Their ability to swim fast helps mitigate risk in the short term. But once outside the ice, a penguin begins to face a looming danger. There are no obvious initial signs, but the underwater movement gradually changes as killer whales position themselves around the area. They don't charge in immediately, but adjust their swimming direction to force their target into a tight circle. The penguin constantly changes direction and searches for space until it is cornered against a moving boat. In that moment of being cornered, the penguin springs out of the water and jumps straight onto the deck. The whale continues swimming below, but cannot reach its target. Thanks to that unexpected position, the penguin escaped pursuit, and the hunt ended without success. from brief chases to prolonged confrontations. The defining characteristic is always how killer fails control space and maintain pressure over time. Regardless of the size or speed of their opponents, coordination and timing determine the outcome. In the ocean, the victor isn't the strongest, but the one who controls the situation until the very last moment.
In an environment where every attack can be a matter of survival, polar bears are forced to act precisely in the rare moments they encounter on the vast, icy landscape. These calculated confrontations demonstrate how predators constantly adjust their strategies against different targets to maintain an advantage in harsh conditions.
In the Chukchi Sea, tens of thousands of walruses gather to feed each year. These large marine animals live primarily in the Arctic, where temperatures are very low and much of the sea surface is covered in ice. Their thick bodies and layers of fat help them adapt well to the frigid environment where many other species struggle to survive. However, when they congregate in large herds on the ice or at the water's edge, their presence gradually attracts the attention of predators. In the thin mist, a polar bear approaches the walrus herd, observing from a distance with slow, steady movements. Upon sensing danger, the herd quickly gathers into a defensive group, with adults on the outside and calves in the middle. The bear moves around, patiently searching for the smallest gap. When it spots a walrus at the edge of the herd, it immediately lunges to separate the target from the group. Immediately after the charge, the walrus fought back and moved toward the water, triggering a chain reaction as the entire herd retreated into the sea. The bear tried to hold on to its prey for a short time, but the pull from the water and the walrus's constant struggling gradually diminished its control. The struggle ended when the walrus broke free and rejoined the herd underwater, rendering the hunt unsuccessful. The difference in this situation stemmed from how the walrus herd maintained distance and supported each other. When danger arose, the entire herd quickly moved toward the water to reduce the time under attack. This coordination rendered the polar bear's efforts futile. Beluga whales live primarily in the Arctic and subarctic seas, where water temperatures often drop below 0 degrees Celsius and much of the surface is covered by ice. They are distributed along the coastal areas of the Arctic Ocean, northern Canada, Russia, Greenland, and Norway. During winter, they use natural breathing holes in the ice to survive, making these areas vulnerable to attack. At the edge of the ice, a polar bear silently approaches as the beluga pod moves near the shallow water, maintaining a distance and waiting for the right moment. It watches each surfacing of its prey until an individual appears near the shore, then immediately lunges, using its front paws to strike the head and neck. gripping tightly and pulling towards the ice. The beluga is briefly held captive and unable to return to deeper water, resulting in a continuous struggle before it weakens. The bear maintains traction and positional control at the ice edge, thereby completing the subduing and securing the valuable food source. Once the prey is held near the ice edge, the advantage begins to shift in favor of the polar bear due to its positional control. The reduced space for movement diminishes the chances of escape with each movement. This hunting style is not common, but when successful, it provides a significant energy boost in a short period. In the Siberian region of Russia, wolf packs live in temperatures below -40 degrees Celsius and still maintain effective hunting abilities. The prolonged cold climate reduces competition from other predators, while the pack structure allows them to coordinate when approaching targets. When they detect an intrusion into their food source or territory, this coordination quickly transforms into confrontational behavior. A pack of wolves spots a polar bear near its carcass and begins circling to assess its reaction. Some briefly approach before retreating to exert pressure. They constantly change positions, trying to force the bear out of the area. The bear turns its head in each direction, maintaining distance and reacting whenever an individual approaches. The confrontation continues, with the pack scattering and then quickly regrouping each time the bear lunges, but without gaining a clear advantage. After several unsuccessful attempts to approach, the pressure gradually eased and the wolves voluntarily retreated, ending the situation without casualties on either side. On the vast sea ice regions of Alaska, polar bears use the edge of the floating ice as a vantage point and approach point for prey, where the extended frozen surface forms a natural hunting ground. This space is large and poorly sheltered, forcing each individual to constantly move in search of food. When food is scarce, or during the breeding season, the appearance of another individual easily leads to direct confrontation. Two male bears approach and begin circling to assess their opponent, maintaining distance while each movement is carefully monitored. Both take turns standing on their hind legs to display their size, then close in and begin to wrestle. Pushing and slapping with the front paws occur continuously, each side trying to gain an advantage at close range. The pace of the clashes gradually increases as both maintain pressure, with repeated bites to the shoulders and necks to hold their position. But neither side gains an immediate advantage. After a period of struggle, one animal begins to slow down and retreat, while the other maintains distance to preserve its advantage. The situation ends when one side withdraws to avoid serious injury. As the pace of the collision slows, one animal actively maintains distance while the other stops pursuing to avoid risk. When one side begins to weaken, the other does not continue the pursuit, but maintains distance to avoid risk. This ending helps both reduce the risk of injury in a harsh environment. In many frigid regions like Alaska and Siberia, dog breeds like the Siberian Husky can withstand temperatures below -30 degrees Celsius and function reliably in icy environments. Domestic dogs are found in many different geographical areas due to their adaptability. When living near humans in harsh conditions, they often develop quick reactions to threats from larger animals. A polar bear approaches an area with sled dogs, causing the entire pack to immediately bark loudly and move around to exert pressure. Some dogs approach closely and then quickly retreat, trying to maintain distance but still maintaining harassment. The bear continues to advance, turning its head in various directions and reacting whenever an individual gets too close.
At first,
The confrontations are brief as some dogs risk getting closer and are forced to retreat when the bear reacts strongly. In many cases, the pack of dogs cannot maintain pressure and must retreat to avoid injury. The situation ended when the dogs voluntarily backed away to avoid risk, while the bear held its position and was not forced to leave the area. In Alaska, caribou herds can migrate over 1,000 kilometers annually in search of new food sources, primarily inhabiting the Arctic and subarctic regions of Canada, the United States, and Greenland. They are adapted to deep snow, swamps, and frigid terrain, maintaining constant movement for survival. When separated from the herd or stopping to forage, these individuals easily become targets for tracking. From behind the herd's movement path, a single target begins to be observed. The polar bear approaches slowly, maintaining distance to avoid attracting attention. When close enough, it suddenly accelerates, forcing the prey to flee, and the chase unfolds on slippery terrain as the bear maintains pressure to find an opportunity to close in. Immediately after accelerating the chase, the distance quickly closed as the bear used its weight and stamina to get close, then delivered a powerful blow to the prey's body, causing it to lose balance. Caribou was subdued after a series of continuous movements, and the bear gained an alternative food source in scarce conditions, thus ensuring its energy for the following days. Seals are one of the marine mammals best adapted to cold environments, mainly distributed in the Arctic, Antarctic, and cold, temperate coastal regions where temperatures can drop below -40 degrees Celsius. Weddell seals maintain their breathing holes in the ice throughout the winter, thanks to their thick layer of blubber and stable cold tolerance. The harsh conditions reduce competition, but each time they surface, they become easily detectable, gradually creating opportunities for predators to approach. From a distance, a polar bear spots the breathing hole in the ice and moves downwind to avoid detection by scent. It approaches slowly, choosing a suitable position and keeping its body almost motionless for an extended period. Every movement is controlled to maintain silence. When the seal surfaces to breathe, the bear immediately lunges and seizes its prey. Immediately after the lunge, the seal, before it could even assess its surroundings, was pinned down, its front paws gripping and pulling it onto the ice. The movements were continuous, leaving no time to react. The pulling direction was maintained steadily to keep it in place on the surface. The event concluded when the bear had complete control over the seal. The outcome of this hunt depended entirely on the ability to wait and control movement. The bear maintained a prolonged ambush, controlled the pace, and chose the right moment. This sequence of actions allowed it to take advantage of rare opportunities and achieve success in icy conditions. Through each confrontation, polar bears demonstrate the ability to change their approach depending on the target, from ambushes to direct pursuit under varying conditions. These developments show that flexibility plays a crucial role in maintaining a survival advantage in the harsh, icy environment.